"Mom, I'm getting married to Alexei." Eva joyfully blurted out the news as soon as her mother opened the front door of their apartment. She rushed in like a whirlwind and began to twirl around the room, overwhelmed by her emotions. "Mom, you can't imagine how happy I am. And you used to say that Alex wouldn't propose to me because I have nothing to my name. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that we love each other, and now we're going to have a real family," Eva exclaimed. "You know, they say don't count your chickens before they hatch," responded her mother, Zoya Petrovna, not sharing in her daughter's excitement. "At first, everything seems rosy, but remember, I don't have money for a wedding, and I still need to support your younger sister." "No, that's not important. Alicia and I have decided not to have a traditional wedding at all. We'll just sign the papers and go on a honeymoon to the islands. Alexei said that traveling to different countries gives you the best experiences," dreamily stated Eva. "Well, if you have the money, why not travel?" Zoya Petrovna grumbled. "But where are you going to live? He has his own two-bedroom apartment. Are you planning to live separately now? He's living with Mom right now because her health is fragile, and he doesn't want to leave her alone for long periods," Eva explained. "So, yes, we'll be living separately. Who will help us with your sister then?" "She just graduated from school and hasn't found a job yet. My salary is meager, you know. Your father doesn't seem too interested in earning a decent living. He's always with his friends in the garage," Zoya Petrovna pointed out. "You used to bring in money, and now you're like a little bird, flying off to your groom with his apartment and plans for a honeymoon on the islands. So, our own family can just struggle then." Zoya Petrovna gave her daughter an unfriendly look, and Eva sensed that another argument about money was about to erupt. Trying to maintain peace, Eva responded, "Mom, of course, I'll help as much as I can. And our sister will find a job, so things will get better. Everything will be fine." Zoya Petrovna didn't say anything in response, just shrugged with discontent. Soon after, Alexei and Eva got married as planned, opting not to have a lavish wedding. They went straight on their honeymoon, and upon returning, Eva moved her belongings to her husband's place. Zoya Petrovna periodically called her daughter, reminding her of the promise to help with money. Eva did indeed contribute a portion of her salary to her mother, without her husband Alexei raising any objections. He believed in helping one's parents and was well off enough to provide for their needs. The couple never had arguments about money. A year after their wedding, Alexei's mother suddenly passed away, someone he deeply loved and supported. Eva understood the profound loss this was for her husband. She also had grown closer to her mother-in-law after their wedding and felt genuinely sad about her early departure. Found someone to mourn about. "Huh? She's just a mother-in-law, she died, and that's it. You'll be better off without someone constantly turning your husband against you," said Eva's mother, trying to downplay the significance of the loss. When Eva tried to share her feelings and explain that her mother-in-law was a caring and kind woman, Zoya Petrovna dismissed her daughter's words, stating that such things didn't happen. Alexei inherited a two-bedroom apartment from his mother, and after her passing, he didn't change anything in the apartment. He simply locked it and took his mother's elderly cat with him. He told Eva that he couldn't bring himself to immediately throw away the belongings that were dear to his mother. Eva compassionately patted her husband on the shoulder. However, Zoya Petrovna, upon learning that the entire apartment was sitting empty, expressed her dissatisfaction. "Have you lost your mind? Rent it out right away, or even better, let your sister move in. It would give us more space, and maybe living separately will motivate her to get married sooner. She seems incapable of finding a job, she just has her head in the clouds," suggested Eva's mother in a conciliatory tone. Eva firmly rejected the idea, saying that they should at least wait a couple of months after her mother-in-law's funeral to decide what to do with the apartment. No matter how much her mother insisted, Eva was adamantly against letting her sister move into her husband's mother's apartment. "You're acting foolishly. Instead of helping your own family, she's grieving and even feels sorry for your husband," said her mother, finally realizing that she wouldn't convince her youngest daughter. 6 months passed, and Eva and Alexei decided to rent out the apartment. They tittied it up and started looking for tenants. Remembering her conversation with her mother, Eva suggested her sister, Masha, as a tenant. "Come on, you know very well that your sister won't be able to pay even half of the rent. It's not about the money, I just believe that your relatives, to put it mildly, are very selfish. They won't appreciate your kindness, and instead, they'll think you're doing too little for them," Eva told her husband, expressing her concerns. "And I have a feeling that once we let your family stay in the apartment for free, kicking them out later will become a major problem. So why create these conflicts? Just keep in mind that everything your mother asks for is for her own benefit. Sometimes, even at the expense of your interests. I've known this for a while, but I didn't want to upset you. You're helping her with money, and that's enough. As for your sister, if she wants to live separately from her parents, she should get a job and earn her own rent," Alexei told Eva, carefully choosing his words to avoid hurting Masha's feelings. Eva agreed with Alexei, so she didn't insist on her request. When her mother tried once again to have her younger daughter live in the apartment with her husband, Eva told her that Alexei was already renting the apartment to acquaintances. Several months passed, and one evening, Eva received an unfamiliar phone call that changed her life. It was from the police, informing her that her husband, Alexei, had been in a car accident. Unfortunately, they couldn't save his life. Upon hearing the news, Eva felt her legs turn to jelly for the first time in her life. She sat down on the floor in her room, unable to fully comprehend what she had just heard. For about 5 minutes, she slowly regained her composure, put on her jacket, and rushed to the police station where the call had come from. Unfortunately, it was all confirmed Alexei had died at the scene of the accident. Eva stood by her husband's body in the morgue, her gaze fixed on his face, which was both familiar and yet strangely foreign. The doctor asked her to sign some papers, and the police tried to explain things. But Eva heard nothing. She automatically signed the documents and slowly left the morgue. She didn't close her eyes all night. In the morning, she called her workplace and requested unpaid leave, citing the reason. Surprisingly, her mother quickly came to visit, offering a few comforting words before quickly packing Eva's belongings in a bag. "What are you doing?" Eva asked. "You're moving in with us. There's no reason for you to be here alone. We'll rent out this place and use the extra money for the funeral. You'll be better off, and as for your mother-in-law's cat, we'll have to find it a shelter or leave it on the street." "I don't like pets in the house," Zoya Petrovna explained. "I'm not going anywhere. This is my home, and the cat stays here too. And all I'm asking of you is to help me organize a proper funeral for Alexei," Eva calmly stated. "All right, don't be stubborn. We'll figure it all out. If you won't go along with me, you'll have to handle it yourself," her mother said and left, slamming the door. The funeral and memorial service for her husband felt like a foggy dream to Eva. A compassionate neighbor helped and guided her through all that was necessary. The day after the funeral, Eva's relatives came to her in full force, her mother, father, and younger sister bearing a bottle of vodka and simple snacks, spreading them on the kitchen table. All the food and drinks were laid out on the dining table. Eva's mother proposed a toast in memory of Alexei. Eva hadn't greeted anyone since the morning, and she reluctantly took a shot glass filled with vodka and pretended to sip it. "So, we're all here as a family. Let's figure out how to proceed." Zoya Petrovna began the conversation. "In 6 months, 2 apartments will become your property, Eva. I believe it would be fair if you transfer one of the apartments to your younger sister. It will be a just gesture since you've inherited these apartments for free. This way, you'll help your own sister get her life started sooner. You can call your tenants right now and kick them out. Your sister will move in, and we'll handle all the paperwork. When the time comes, we'll make it official." The younger sister, following her mother's lead, nodded in agreement. Zoya Petrovna continued, "Now, as for you, Eva, since you don't want to move back to us, your father and I will move in with you. We'll live in your apartment and rent out our own. Extra income won't hurt, right, Masha? Why would you want to live here alone? We'll look after you and take care of everything." Eva remained silent throughout the discussion. She then rose from the table without saying a word. "Where are you going?" "I haven't finished yet," her mother said, clearly annoyed by Eva's actions. "May I go to the restroom?" Eva answered without stopping, entering the bathroom. In front of the mirror, Eva gazed at herself, her complexion pale. She splashed cold water on her face, feeling a bit better. Returning to the room, her mother looked at her with surprise and continued her conversation. "All right, it's decided. Give me the spare keys to the apartment and call the tenants. Let them vacate the apartment by tomorrow, or at the very latest, in 3 days. And we need to address the issue with the cat too. I warned you, I don't like pets," Zoya Petrovna stated. Eva looked at her mother, realizing now how right her husband Alexei had been when he said that her relatives were only looking out for their own interests. They seemed to care little for Masha. Her mother's voice snapped her out of her thoughts. "Masha, grab the phone, wake up." Eva slowly pushed her chair back from the table, stood up, and then spoke firmly. "I won't be transferring any apartments to my sister, and I won't be evicting the tenants. You need to understand this right away. Alexei was right when he told me that you only seek your own benefit. His death hasn't even been a week, and you're all here like vultures, trying to divide his apartments, even though you have no claim to them, Mom. Your sense of fairness is terribly skewed. I hope this matter is now closed. As for what I'll do with my husband's apartments, I'll decide that on my own." With each word, Eva's expression grew darker, and she felt a growing resolve in her heart. Her mother's face remained stern, while her younger sister's expression showed her disbelief at this unexpected turn of events. Their father looked lost, shifting his gaze between his wife and daughter. Her mother threatened her. "You'll regret defying me," I said quickly. "Give me the keys and call your tenants. Otherwise, you'll be sorry," Eva responded calmly. "Your threats won't work on me. Mom, just accept my decision. I don't want to fight with you, but I won't let you control my life anymore. I won't give in to your demands. Let's end this conversation here," her mother remarked snidely. "Look at you, acting all high and mighty. Now you think you're a big shot, and even your family isn't good enough for you." Eva replied, "I prefer the second option. I believe it will save me a lot of trouble. I haven't seen any parental love and care in a long time, so I have nothing to lose." Her mother, her demeanor now nervous, abruptly stood up from the table and, with a defiant stride, headed for the door. Her younger sister followed her, and their father, lingering at the table, took the vodka bottle and trailed after his wife. Eva closed the front door behind them. The news of her pregnancy, which she shared with the doctor the next morning at the clinic, was the first thing that brought a glimmer of hope and joy into Eva's life after Alexei's death. She would soon become a happy mother, and this prospect was enough to lift her spirits. She cautiously placed her hand on her abdomen and smiled. No more loneliness, she thought in response to her mother's words from the previous day. We'll just limit contact with the overly pushy relatives. Life goes on.